Welcome to Italy. It is supposed to be a very rainy weekend. We had a dry practice. There's a little bit of rain in qualifying. We're going to try and get at least one, if not both of the cars out before that rain hits. We've managed to get relatively decent setups on both cars, and there have been no engine changes or anything like that to the car. Just trying to save a bit of money, ready for the end of the season, which is fast approaching. George Russell, obviously favourite once again, and he'll be there for the one that goes out first. And if we can get Oilot out before the rain hits, we will do so. But there it is, it's hitting about 6 minutes, well, about probably 9-10 minutes to go. I don't think we will get Oilot out before it, I won't lie. So it's hit perfect. No, the rain's actually started now, which could affect Russell's lap. He will get a soft lap time out there, and we'll see exactly what he gets. He's looking, I don't know, maybe the last sector would have affected it. We're going to wait for this rain to go. They both will go out again, but at least he's got a lap time on the board. A 10th down on Hamilton, so it's not too bad really. And everyone else is well off the pace. Right then. The rain's disappearing. We will now send... Will we send out Oilot? No, we're going to wait. Wait a little bit for the track to start getting a little bit of grip at the very least. And then we'll send out Oilot, which is now, it's got a little bit, it's not so damp. And Oilot can go and hopefully put in a decent lap time. Still waiting for that mega performance from Oilot that I've been expecting. I know he can do it. He was brought in to replace Latifi. I expect more than what I've been getting, truth be told. So he's perfect there. And we will now send out George, because he will have to go out again now. Leclerc currently quickest, and therefore currently on pole position, but Hamilton will go out again, and that will therefore be abolished. Scott McLaughlin has now gone fastest in the Ferrari. Oilot has gone fastest. And here comes George. Can he go fastest? So Oilot went 400ths quicker than McLaughlin. Russell is slower in Sector 1. But he still means he's up on everybody else. And then he's green in Sector 2 and he's 2/10 up on everybody. And Sector 3 will be so much quicker. And it's purple Sector 3. And then Bottas comes in and hits an absolute stonker of a lap. Verstappen also. So does Hamilton. But I think, there you go. George Russell has qualified in 4th. Callum Oilot has qualified in 10th. It's a much better qualifying session for us. We're not far off. We're not far off. And Oilot getting in 10th, that's key. That's very key. We'll now have to work out a race strategy, because as far as I can tell, it's meant to be basically raining most of the race, if you believe the weather. There you go, stormy rain. Surely that's just rain for the whole race, and if it is, well, as we turn up, there's no rain. It's dry at the moment, so where is this rain and when is it coming? Oh, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. What they said, they want us to start on wet tyres? I don't want to do that. I won't lie to you, I really don't want to do that. I'm making a bold strategy call here. And this could go horrendously wrong. But we're not starting on wet tyres. There's a good 2-3 laps there. They're going to be on full wets, these drivers. Full wet tyres in dry conditions is not good. So if we can utilise the 2-3 laps where the slicks will work, surely we'll be able to pull a really decent gap over everybody and get the jump. Surely. Put on the soft tyres and just bomb it. That's what we're doing. And I'm doing it with both of them. I'm not playing safe, because playing safe isn't going to win us a Grand Prix. I'm not saying this will, because Lewis Hamilton is so fast. But it might. Drive and start attack, because it's only 3 laps. So yeah, that's our strategy. We're going all out at the start, in the hope that before the rain comes, we can build up enough of a gap, to be able to pit and still be either in front or at least, in a decent spot. And I think we could also probably put it on high, because when the rain comes, we'll be saving money, fuel as well. Oh, this is a call. Yes, I am sure. Right, so the grid is Lewis Hamilton on pole, Max Verstappen starts second, Valtteri Bottas is third, George Russell fourth, starting on slick tyres. Sergio Perez is fifth, and Daniel Ricciardo is sixth. On the fourth row we have Sebastian Vettel and Nico Hülkenberg. In ninth place is Lando Norris, who's also going to do a slick tyre at the start. Callum Ilott on slick tyres in 10th. Scott McLaughlin and Pierre Gasly 11th and 12th. Yuki Tsunoda starts 13th and Charles Leclerc 14th. We've got Kimi Raikkonen starting on slicks. Don't know what's going on hards. And Fernando Alonso is in 16th, also on the hard tyre. Esteban Ocon starts 17th and Guan Yu Zhou 18th. And Antonio Giovinazzi and Felipe Drugovich are 19th and 20th. So all those cars at the back are doing what I've said to do and try and get a quick start. Oh boy. Here we go. Can we get a good launch here? Surely, because everyone else is on wets, they ain't going to get a good start, are they? Russell hasn't got maybe the start he was hoping for, but with them all on wets, he should be able to make his moves quite simply. You'd have hoped, and he's flying through them. He is flying through them, and now Ilott is starting to cut through as well. And wow, you can just see all the cars on slick tyres fly through them, and it is hilarious. I think, to be fair, with the fact that we're going to be watching, why don't we just put it into overtake mode? Because when the rain comes, you save fuel anyway. Put the ERS on both cars. Let's go. And it is, at the moment, a Williams 1-2. We're waiting for the rain to come for the right time to pit. I don't know what gap we're going to have over the likes of Ricciardo and all that lot. But we will see. People have pitted for Inters. They've already pitted on the first lap. That's such an odd call. We're going to wait a lap, I think, is the plan, or maybe a couple of laps. George Russell set the fastest lap of the race. Callum Ilott is also doing really well. We're going to turn down that engine because I don't want it to be too much of a gap for us to have to claw back in terms of fuel. And it's just damp at the moment, so we can ignore it. And then next lap, George Russell can come in and he can go on to wet tyres. And the same for Callum Ilott. Come on, boys, bring it on. Bring it home. In which case we will now turn it down a little bit, just to make sure we get there. So the gap to the people on Inters is 34 seconds. We should, actually this could have worked absolutely perfect. And then George Russell's got such a gap over Ilott, he might be able to get in the pits and back out before Ilott gets there. He hasn't. Ilott had to wait a little bit because of a front jack mistake. But all in all, we may have just pulled an absolute blinder because Hamilton's going to have to pit anyway because he's on the wrong tyres now. And Russell and Eilert are at 1-2. We've got a chance here. We've got a chance here, boys. We may have just played an absolute blinder. Now, when it gets to the point where we have to go to Inters, does it ever really get to the point where we have to go to Inters? I don't know, right now we are 8 seconds up the road from anybody else, and we look really good, really strong. It's all about, can Norris close the gap on us now? That's what he'll be trying to do. And as the rain stops and the track starts to dry out, do we pit for Inters? That then becomes a question for us. Do we go for Inters for a bit, or will we be too slow on wets for this part? Maybe. We'll see what everyone else is doing. Because Hamilton, theoretically, has played a blinder. Hamilton's back in this now, isn't he? We are going to have to pit for Inters, and Hamilton's probably just played a blinder that might have won in the race, sticking it on. Sticking it on Inters has actually possibly won him the race. So fair play to him for that. That was a really good call on his part. He's done really well there. It may well have won him the race. We are going to pit for the Inters. But at the same time, he will have to pit again anyway. That we know. And all these cars... we're now going to have to get back past. But they're going to have to pit, I'd have thought, before wets. They're going to have to pit before wets, I would have thought. If not, then they have all played an absolute blinder in terms of strategy. And Lando Norris is really struggling on those wet tyres now, and with us with that fresher grip. And you can see we've got fresher grip. We're certainly looking a lot more competitive, and we're back in the green when it comes to fuel as well. And those two battling away in front. George Russell is looking for a way past McLaughlin, which he cannot find at the moment. No matter what he's trying, he cannot find his way past him. They're going to have to pit before all the wet tyres come back in. That is for sure. And then when the wet tyres come back in, I'm tempted to pit to go on to wets. And George Russell, will he finally get past McLaughlin? Yes, he will. That's a really good move from George. Really good move up into fourth. And they're all just trying to make it last to the wets, I think. No, Hamilton's gone into the pits now. He will come back out in first, probably, knowing him. Oh, no, he hasn't. He's behind everybody. George Russell now. And now these two are coming into the pits. He has come out ahead of Eilert. But we are now doing what we can as Verstappen pits. And now Russell leads the Grand Prix. George Russell is 2.2, so Hamilton's probably going to win the race. I'm going to be 100% honest with that. Hamilton will probably win the race from here. Even though I know I'm going to be pitting for wet tyres soon, I do expect him to win this race. Callum Eilert is now running in third place. And here's Hamilton arriving on the scene. He's just so fast, is Lewis Hamilton. He's insanely fast. He will probably go to the end on those Inters. I'm waiting another few more laps before I go on to try and get my wet tyres on. for the last few laps of this race. Just waiting for it to get to that point where it is probably the right time to go to wets, where we can then compete. I'm hoping for George that we'll come back out ahead of Max. I don't really want to be competing with Max, if I'm going to be honest with you, but it could be difficult. So this lap, we're making a call, because we're not going to beat Lewis Hamilton on pace alone. We've got to make a call. We knew we were going to have to pit before the end of the race. We are going to have to pit before the end of the race. We may as well pit and go to the wet tyre and just see what happens. So there we go. In we come. George Russell, where's he coming out? He's coming out in second. George Russell's coming out in second place. And now, Lewis hasn't pit. Can we close the gap to Lewis? Oh, here we go. Ignore his rear wing, I don't care. Lewis has got to hold on for a couple of laps, isn't he, really? Because that's when our tyres will then essentially become useless compared to his. We're going on to push and push because we want to try and close that gap. But yeah, as you can see, it's already starting to slowly dry. And when it gets to that section, Hamilton then becomes the favourite, if you will. And the gap is only going to get down to about 7 seconds, I think. I don't think we're going to close it enough to compete with Lewis here. No, it's starting to hold up in it for him. Which is fair enough. You know what, we tried something because we were never going to win any other way. We tried to go on to these wet tyres, and in the end it hasn't quite worked out. But be happy, guys, because we are going to be, hopefully, with a double podium finish, a second and a third place. I believe this will be the first double podium we've had. I think we've played the rain to the best of our ability today, and we gave ourselves the best chance of a victory. The victory hasn't come. It's a shame. But what has come is George Russell picking up a second place finish and Callum Ilott picking up a third place finish. We've done so well. We have done so well. And there we go, George Russell crosses the line, and soon enough Callum Ilott will be doing the same. And Callum Ilott has picked up his first podium in Formula 1. George Russell, it's not his first, and it certainly won't be his last as our car gets better and better. Lewis Hamilton played that race just a little bit better than we did. His pure pace obviously would have helped as well. But ultimately, that was a very good race weekend for us. Very good. A second and a third. A 3-stop race in the end, but it worked out perfectly for us. Just make sure we broke no rules. We shouldn't have yet. No rules broken. Second and third. Russell gained 2 places. Ilott gained 7. A haul of 33 points. Absolutely incredible. Fantastic when you consider Alpha Tauri haven't picked up a single point this weekend. And there you have it. Lewis Hamilton gets his winner's trophy, but we get a second place trophy and a third place trophy. This all British team, I've only just noticed, an all British podium. We're doing so well. George Russell still third in the Drivers' Championship, 140 points. Callum Ilott lifts himself up now to 17 with 16 points, and he'll hope to keep going. Latifi's just up the road with 59 points, and that's where he will be aiming to try and get to at the very least. We're comfortably third, 215 points. We're just growing that lead over Alpha Tower every weekend. Honestly, I couldn't be happy with that. When I saw that it was probably going to be raining most of the race, I was over the moon. Because I knew I could play it to my advantage, and starting on slicks did that. Starting on slicks is why we got a double podium there. 2.4 million back in the kitty, so we're over 40 million now. And next up, I don't know where we're going actually. We are going back to Russia. A quick track. What's the weather going to be like? Rain in practice, but it is dry for the rest of the weekend. Well, if you were excited, if you enjoyed watching Russell and Eilert smash that Italian Grand Prix, drop the video a like, give us a subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.